What's going on, guys? Dots Gaming here, and today I'm going to be bringing you an updated version of my BDO gear progression guide for new players. Gearing up in BDO for beginners can be very confusing, as there's a lot of gear options for your characters, and you may be unsure what the best path for you is. And choosing the right path of gear in Black Desert is very crucial because it's where a significant portion of your power comes from. I made a version of this guide last year that people found very helpful, but with the new guaranteed pen systems in the game, the gearing path has definitely changed a bit. I'm going to be giving you guys some recommendations as well as a path to follow so you can make sure you're gearing up in as optimal of a manner as possible. Like I said, I do have a guide on my YouTube channel that discusses gear and stats as well and how they work in BDO, and I recommend giving that guide a watch as well. And I do want to mention though that before we hop into this guide, that this is all just my opinion. People have varying opinions on how you should gear, the optimal path, etc. And these are just simply my recommendations from the research I've done, as well as the path that I personally plan on taking for myself. Now, I'm going to be primarily discussing gear progression from the perspective of starting on a seasoned server, as I think that is by far the most optimal way to start your journey in BDO. If for some reason you start playing at a time where no seasoned server is available, I recommend watching my gear progression guide from last year, as that is the path that you're going to want to take, so you'll be able to find that video as well down in the description. Do note that with that guide, it does leave you off in full tech gear, which afterwards I'd recommend segueing into the guaranteed pen system, which I also have a guide for that I will also link in the description below. Now, actually kicking this guide off, guys, the first thing you're going to want to do is create a character on the season server and progress through the season pass. By leveling, following the season pass, and doing the main quests on the season server up through Alta Nova, you'll be collecting gear known as Naru gear, which is going to serve as your starting gear, as well as some other fantastic rewards. You'll also be gaining enhancing materials, which are known as beginner blackstones, and you'll use these to tap your Naru weapons and armor up to pen. We are not going to bother with our Naru accessories, as they're not worth enhancing because we're going to be replacing them extremely quickly. Now, once you get these Naru items to pen, you'll have a button appear next to your gear window when you open your inventory that allows you to exchange that gear for Pride Tuvala gear. From there, you're going to want to utilize time-filled blackstones to enhance your Tuvala gear and weapons up to pen. Now, this is a super abridged version of the gearing process through the season server, but I do have a separate guide on my channel for a much more in-depth look, which I will also, again, link in the description below. Now, at this point, you're going to have your pen, Tuvala gear, and weapons, but what about our accessories? Now, you're going to be using the Caposha accessories that you get from the level up rewards from 58 through 61. That is a Caposha ring, a Caposha earring, a Caposha belt, and a Caposha necklace. In addition, you're also going to get a pen Tuvala earring and ring through the season pass, which pretty much covers all of your accessories. Now, when you do eventually graduate from the season, you usually get the ability to choose one reward from previous seasons, which is normally a pen Caposha item that you can replace one of your regular Caposha accessories with. Now, personally, I recommend choosing the pen Caposha necklace. That is definitely the most value out of all the accessories you can choose. Now, at this point, your account's going to be in a pretty solid spot to start tackling the next part of the gearing progression and getting into the later parts of the game. And after this, though, I'm sure many of you are going to wonder, well, where do I go next after the graduation of the season server? You're going to want to segue into the guaranteed pen system, exchanging your pen Tuvala gear for resplendent Tet boss armor gear at Jatina, who can be found at any stables in any major city. Now, for basically everyone at this gear level, you're going to want to focus on a DR damage reduction setup, as that's going to give you the most defense possible, since evasion only really becomes good at the way end game. So what you're going to want to do is exchange your Tuvala gear for a Griffin's helmet, Red Nose armor, Beg's gloves, Uragan's boots, a Xarka main weapon, Dandelion awakening weapon, and Kudum sub-weapon. Now, in terms of the order that I recommend upgrading these, I personally recommend starting with your weapons. If you are a succession class, you're going to want to get your guaranteed pen Xarka, going through that process. Again, guide on the guaranteed pens in the description below. Get your Xarka to pen, get your Kudum to Resplendent 4, the rank 4 Reform Stone. We don't take this all the way to Pen simply because the rank 4 Kudum is literally almost as good as the Pen Kudum, but you do not have to spend the significantly extra money that's going to happen to get it to Pen, so you just sit on Resplendent 4, and then afterwards get your Pen Dandelion. Now, if you're Awakening, you're going to start with the guaranteed Pen Dandelion, then go into your Pen's Kazarka, and then get that Resplendent 4 Kudum. Now, after that, we are going to work on another guaranteed item, but this is going to be an accessory. You can actually get a guaranteed ring or earring through Jatina again. There is a guaranteed Pen Jewelry system, so if you go to her, you can start a quest for that, and you can choose to get either a Narc ear accessory or a Ring of the Crescent Guardian. I will also link a guide for the guaranteed jewelry system in the description below, but I recommend for 99% of people to go with the Ring of the Crescent Guardian. You are then going to work on progressing that to get that to Tet. You are then going to now purchase another Tet Ring of the Crescent Guardian, as well as a Tet Bacillus spell. Now, at this point, all you really need to do is finish out your earrings, and you'll have all Tet accessories. And at this point, in my opinion, I think earring is personal choice when it comes to Tet. If you want more defense, you're going to go with Narc earrings. If you want to go full big dick damage, you're going to want to go with Tet Distortion earrings, but if you want to go somewhere in between, Tet Tungrads are a very good option. Now, at this point, we can look into moving to some more endgame gear options. We now have, our full Tet accessories, our pen weapons, as well as now some full Tet armor. At this point, you're going to want to purchase or try to farm up your Vel's Heart, which is going to be your alchemy stone, which does give some extra damage. You are then going to want to now go through getting your armor to Pen. So we are going to go with Red Nose first, then Begs, and then Griffins. And then afterwards, you are going to straight up purchase your Pen Uragon's boots. You are not going to buy your Pen Uragon boots through the guaranteed Pen system because of the fact that it ends up being more expensive to get your 4th armor piece through the guaranteed Pen system as opposed to if you were to just buy it outright. So I recommend either purchasing the Pen Uragon boots outright or trying to enhance them if you are so inclined. And now at this point, we can start working into some super endgame upgrades now that we are basically full Pen with Tet accessories. Starting to work on our Garmoth Heart to give us extra stats on our sub weapon and more jewelry or more gem slots on our awakening weapon. You can also start progressing in getting Fallen God armor as well as a Labresca helmet. And then you could also push your Kudum to Pen through the guaranteed Pen system. Now, at that point, once that's all done, you're going to want to start moving into your Pen accessories. Now, when it comes to the BIS accessories for you at Pen, it's going to vary a ton based on your class, how much accuracy your class has baked in, which is usually the biggest thing that you want to concern yourself with, whether or not health is a massive priority, etc. But by this point in the game, you'll have an extremely good grasp on BDO and should know what you're looking to get anyway, and so I'm not going to bother putting it in the guide because, again, everyone's going to be wanting something different, and I think accessories personally are where more personal choice starts to come into play, and it's a lot less clear cut than the armor. Now, in terms of what crystals, because I mentioned crystals with the Garmoth Heart, in terms of what crystal you should be putting into your gear, crystals, again, are usually dependent per class, but I can give some, a recommended solid base setup that will work on most classes. So, I highly recommend using Black Magic Crystal Precisions in your main weapon and Magic Crystal of Infinity Critical Hit in your sub weapon. Now, past these crystals, what you want to put in your gear is, like I said, more up to you, but we're going to make some recommendations here. For a budget crystal setup that's capable of PvPing, I would personally recommend going Black Magic Crystal Intimidation in your helmet, Black Magic Crystal Special Evasion in your armor, Ancient Magical Crystal of Nature Adamantine in your boots, and Black Magic Crystal Valor in your gloves. For a pure PvE setup, we're going to go with Ancient Magic Crystal Harphias in our helmet, Ancient Magic Crystals Cobalinus in our armor, Ancient Magic Crystal Hystria in our boots, and Black Magic Crystal Precision in our gloves. Now, if we're looking to go to a more expensive crystal setup that still isn't going to bust up your bank, I recommend putting crystals of Elkar in your main weapon and corrupted magic crystals in your sub weapon. For gear crystals, I would recommend for PvP going with Han Magic Crystal Hooms in your helmet, Black Magic Crystal Special Evasion still in your armor, Red Battlefield Crystal Adamantine in your boots, and Bond Magic Crystal Vipers in your gloves. For a pure PvE setup, I would go with Han Magic Crystal Macalods in your helmet, Bond Magic Crystal Cobalinus in your armor, red Battlefield Crystal Adamantine still in your boots, and Bond Magic Crystal Viper still in your gloves. Again, speaking on the topic of crystals, like I mentioned earlier, do be sure to farm Garmoth for that Garmoth heart as you're approaching those higher gear levels, because like I did say, it can add 2 additional crystal slots to your awakening weapon and extra stats to your sub weapon. And for the Garmoth crystals, you're going to want to finish your Han set bonuses, so you're going to want to get Hooms for PvP and Macalods for PvE. Now, there's another thing that you have in the game called cups. This is something that comes from Elvia, the Elvia server, and it's basically a way for you to give some of your accessories and certain pieces basically like some extra bonuses. And so personally, what I recommend for most people is to look into the health cups to boost your HP. Some classes may want to use crit damage, but most people are going to benefit more from the additional health. I recommend getting the neck health cup on your pen cap potion neck or tent necklace, especially because it's pretty cheap for how much health you gain. But otherwise, I would wait a long time until you're looking into your endgame pen accessories to place the cups on them, since you don't get them back when you remove them, and they can be quite time consuming to farm. Now, something to keep in mind too is that at any point during the process, you notice that you're very, very close to an AP or DP bracket as you start acquiring pen pieces. I highly recommend putting some Khafras into your gear, as it can be a very cost-effective way to give yourself a big boost to your stats. Making sure that you do some of your adventure logs as well can also be a fantastic way to help you reach those AP and DP brackets by doing some exploration-focused tasks. Also, some of you may be wondering what lightstones you should use as well as artifacts. In general, for PvE, a very effective, easy to acquire, and frankly cheap setup is to use 2 Marsh's Artifacts AP against monsters with 4 Lightstones of Fire Rage. Now, when it comes to PvP though, your Lightstone and Artifact setup is going to be totally class dependent, so check out your class Discord to see which setup is best for you. And guys, I'm sure you saw that throughout this video I did link a couple of what looked like a gear calculator screenshots so you could see what the gear looked like, and I will link those Garmoth calculators as well with the other million links I have in this video, again, in that description below. Now guys, with that being said, that is going to be it for me today on my upgraded gear progression path for BDO in 2022, and I hope that you guys found this helpful. If you did, I would appreciate if you smacked a like on the video. If you have any questions about gearing, leave a comment below, and myself or somebody else who knows what they're doing can help you. And for more BDO beginner guides, please hit that sub button as well as the bell to keep those notifications on. And you can catch me live on Twitch 5 days a week over at twitch.tv/dotsgaming, so feel free to come stop by and say hello. So I appreciate you guys stopping by today. Thank you very much. Hope you all again enjoyed the video. As always, I'm Dots Gaming, and I'll see you all in the next one.